Test. Can you guys hear me?
There's been a leak about, is that a 24-inch laptop? I think it's a 20. I don't know. I just went to fucking store and I bought an expensive one. You guys can see I can afford it now, right? You know? The funny thing about me being number 14 is the fact that I didn't even stream for like a whole year. Like, I don't really, like, I've said this before, right? Like, this is the same thing with the Twitch payouts. Like, people are like, I'm sure that there are some streamers that are like really embarrassed by it or whatever. So like, they said I made like $2.6 million between like now and or 2020 and 2021 and 2019 or something like that. I don't really know, like, because I don't really ever check how much money I have, like, ever. It just goes into like accounts and then that's it. But I mean, this is not a wildly inaccurate number. I will say that. Like, this is not a wildly inaccurate number. I don't really give a fuck that much about people knowing that, because I think that not telling people that is, it's like, I don't want, like, the thing is, I don't really, I live the same life that I think a lot of other people that watch my stream live. I don't really do anything crazy with my money at all. Obviously, like, soon I'm gonna have to get a caretaker for my mom and everything like that, probably an home nurse or a nurse that'll visit and take care of her regularly. Same with probably a maid service too. That way it just makes it easier for her to clean up around the house, etc. And so this is going to be a lot of money I'm going to need to spend. But in the grand scheme of things, it's something I can afford and whatever. But to me, I always feel better about spending more money on other people than spending it on myself. I'll say that for sure. How is the leak a big deal? The reason the leaks are a big deal, so this is like, I'll talk about it in a number of different directions and a number of different things. This is a more unique thing on Twitch than it is on, let's say, like YouTube, for example. On YouTube, I think that there's much more of an understanding that the people that are popular on YouTube have very extravagant lifestyles, or at least they have the capacity to have those. But I think that on Twitch, there's like this idea that whenever you have a smaller content creator or something like that, this person is not even smaller, but like just a content creator in general, like people develop a personal connection with this individual. They develop a connection with them emotionally. I think the reason this dovetails into also the reason why I think that women are not as popular on Twitch. It has nothing to do really with the women themselves. I think that it has a lot more to do with the fact that people watch streams for the relatability factor, and a gender barrier there is a barrier to entry in terms of allowing somebody to be able to understand the way another person feels, right? So this is the same reason why women are not popular on Twitch, and I think also to a lesser extent other minority groups are not either. It's because people watch other people that look like them that they can relate to, and this is, can be upset about this or whatever, but this is just human behavior. And either way, we can just basically draw a parallel between the way that people are able to relate to a streamer. And so if you have a streamer that has a high relatability, and then you find out this streamer is making $800,000 a year, meanwhile you've been donating to him and you're making $40,000 a year, and you're trying to help out your boy and you're part of the community, you're gonna feel a little bit stupid for that. To me, for streaming, like, I don't really, it's funny, right? Because you guys remember whenever Pokimane turned off her donations, and I said that I was concerned about this becoming a trend that then is used as a rationalization to promote hate towards streamers who do not. I think the rationalization people use for why streamers should take off donations is it's just not very strong. I think that a lot of streamers do it as a PR move or something like that. And the truth is, like, the reason why I stopped doing TTS, it's very simple. It's because it was fucking annoying. I don't care. Like, I made, like, I don't know, it was like over $5,000 in one day in TTS. And like every day I would make thousands of dollars in TTS, but it was fucking annoying. And like, I don't want to have, it's fucking annoying. And so I turned it off. That's pretty much about it. May I make a disclaimer on the donation? No, the thing is that a lot of people, everybody has ways that they can, like a mentally ill person or somebody who's a fucking idiot, is going to always find a way to, a fool and their money are soon parted, and it doesn't really matter like what happens or like what avenues you give them, they're always going to find a way to waste their money. And I think that if you put that degree of responsibility on the person who's taking the money, without really any sort of context behind it, I think that it's just, it's probably just something that's done out of spite and resentment and not necessarily logic. So I don't agree with that at all. This is my perspective on making money and everything like that. And this is something I've talked about before, but I'll go ahead and I'll go over it again. Is I think that it's always a good idea, like if you're a streamer or whatever, you should try to make as much money as you can. It's hard to transition to doing another job after being a streamer. Like imagine somebody Googles Asmongold, like what's going to come up? Probably things that you wouldn't want to hire somebody for. So it's very much it's a dead-end job in a lot of ways. Obviously some other people are able to turn it into something that it's not a dead-end job for, but with many others I think that it definitely is. And I know obviously every streamer has like their own different perspective on what they want to do, etc. But for me, like I look at making as much money as, not really as much money as I can, but I make a good amount of money. I don't really try to overreach or underreach. I just do what I do, and whatever happens happens. And the reason why I think that's important is because obviously you have things that happen that you can expect will happen, and things that happen you can't expect will happen. Things like like your parents getting older, and now I have to hire probably a nurse for my mom, etc. This costs money. This is not something that I necessarily need to do within my means, but this is something that people do. People don't really think about, I think, a lot of times whenever they consider like the amount of money that they have to spend. And also it's like, imagine like you have a kid, and the kid has like a fucking disorder, or there's something wrong with the kid for whatever reason, and you end up having to spend like thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars on making sure this kid is not completely fucked up for his life. Whenever I think about like making money and everything like that, I think about like making it for my family, for my kids, for my kids' kids potentially, and just it's not really just for me. It's for everybody around me as well, like people I can help out, things I can do, etc. So I don't have a kid, but like what I'm saying is if I ever did or something like that, then I'd be able to take care of them too. And it's generational wealth. I think that's the idea. And I don't really hold that against anybody. I think that's probably what everybody, I think that's a good thing in a way, is to try to make money to provide for your family and for people you care about. Like that's what it's all about, in my opinion. So if there's any people that are upset about that, it's going to be a fundamental disagreement here. Everyone aspires for that? Yeah, everybody aspires for that. So it's all people become boring and grown up. Yeah, I think that's true. Like, having all the money to pay for your bills is boring, but having to fucking call up the City of Austin Utilities and get them to give you a 30-day extension, having to go down to the food stamp office and apply for food stamps again, sit in a fucking line for 3 hours. Yeah, you're right. It's more interesting, but it's not as fun. I'll tell you that, man. It's a fucking pain in the dick. But yeah, I wish I was bored. Yeah, exactly, man. Either way, I'm not gonna get into that too much more. But I think that there are a lot of streamers out there who do really play into, and this is something that I've always tried to be very outspoken about, the parasocial relationship. And I think this is the idea of that. I think this is much more an issue, like with my stream and like with my viewers. I think that this is not as big of an issue because a lot of you guys are fucking boomers. Like, let's just be honest. You can be honest with me. Tell me the truth. You're fucking boomers. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. So anyway, because you're all boomers, you don't really have that same, like, I think younger people that are, by the nature of them being younger, more naive, are going to be much more susceptible to being pulled into a parasocial relationship with a live streamer. Whether this is a like a love interest relationship or a friendly relationship or whatever. A lot of my audience, by the way, guys, like I would say like the median age of my audience is somewhere, I said 28 yesterday, but like probably between like 26 and 30. Like if I had to say like how many people are in that range, I think that would be probably the highest range. Either way, like what I'm saying is that there's a lot of people who are, they're viewers of streams and everything like that, and they're a lot younger, and so they see some guy who does basically the same stuff that they do, and except for this person is getting, let's say, 10,000, 20,000 viewers, and they think, wow, this guy is just like me. This guy is like my friend. Like this is like another version of me. And I think people, viewers, take this and they expand it so much. Yeah, he's just like me, exactly, my streamer, something like that. And in the process of doing that, they develop a connection, and that connection is based off of congruency. It's based off of similarities in lifestyle and similarities between themselves and that streamer. And I think people that have those similarities are more likely to donate money to streamers. They're more likely to give streamers more money and be more supportive of them and watch them more and everything like that. So whenever you find out that this streamer who you thought you had a lot of common with and everything like that, whenever you find out that that streamer actually makes, I don't know, like $50,000 a month, $800,000 a year, whatever number you want to throw out there, that really kind of throws a wrench in the gears that are fucking turning in this guy's head that make him think that he has some connection with a top 50 streamer. So this is why a lot of streamers might not be comfortable talking about this, and it might be a reason why a lot of streamers don't really like talking about this, etc. It's because in the process of doing so, it in a way alienates them from their audience, because these are people that have a tremendous position of I think privilege in a way has a connotation of being unearned, and of course everybody does to some degree earn their success on Twitch, so I'm hesitant to use that word, but you see what I'm kind of saying, right? These are people that have they are immensely what's the word? Fuck. What is the word? Like fortunate. They're fortunate. Thank you so much. I don't know why. Sometimes I draw a blank on these words. Yeah, extremely fortunate people. And because of that, obviously, have you ever had like a friend? And this is a good question for you guys. You ever had a friend whenever you're growing up, maybe, who always had like, you always had the new thing. You always had, you still had the Nintendo 64, but he got the GameCube. You're still sitting there playing Halo 2, but he's got the Halo 3 on Xbox 360, and that caused a little bit of resentment between you and that friend. And maybe it's people at school instead, or something like that. Have you guys ever had that? A lot, actually, yeah. Many people have had that, and this is a very common thing, and that resentment is something that a lot of streamers don't want to ferment in their own audience for obvious reasons. So it makes sense that they would try to not necessarily talk about these kinds of things that much. I consider myself very lucky and very fortunate myself, personally, in a unique way that a lot of my audience is boomers that usually watch from YouTube. Like, whenever I tell a joke, I get as many LMAOs as I get as little W's. Like, I get more views on YouTube than I do on Twitch, to be honest with you. So, obviously, like, it's bad. Like, Twitch really fucked up with this. I'll definitely say that. Like, this is fucking... this is a pretty big mistake for Twitch, and it definitely makes them look bad. And I think that, really, like, you can be like, oh, YouTube's so much better, but YouTube has stupid shit happen all the time. Like, the fact is, like, whenever you run a tech company or anything like this, this is just going to happen. And it's actually good. No, it's not good at all. Having people's personal information leaked and spread out to the public is not good. I can't really see that as a good thing at all. There are people that always want to know more about a streamer or a content creator's life. So even if that information is obtained through a violation of that person's privacy, they consider that good because they view their relationship with a content creator as holistic. This is a merging, like a marriage between you and them. So anything more that you know is fundamentally good about them. Which is, yeah, this is, in another word, like I'm fucking intellectualizing this. I think I can make a much better word for this. They're fucking weirdos. they're weirdos. They're entitled weirdos. So yeah, definitely not something I'm a fan of. What's your take on streamers acting in need? I mean, I think that, so this is going to be a problem, and this is another bad thing that's going to happen, and this is what I think will happen, is that streamers that are smaller content creators, people will see these leaks and they will assume that the smaller content creators, because they're just not, a lot of people don't really think about this a lot, they will assume that a lot of people on Twitch make this kind of money because the top people make this kind of money. It's the same reason why a lot of people want to start playing basketball in middle school, because they think they're going to go to the NBA. So these are the kinds of things that happen, and this will give people a reason not to donate and not to support even mid-tier tier streamers and small-tier streamers as well. I think this will be a net negative. It will also create a lot of discontent and resentment in the community, because a lot of viewers will be once again reminded of the fact that the people that they look up to and think that they relate to make multiples more of what they're ever going to make. Just a sec. Another fucking error. How are there this many of them? I want to go ahead and address, I think, probably an elephant in the treehouse here. Why I haven't been on my main channel. I originally was going to make a video about it yesterday, and I was going to do a video about it today, but I'm not really ready to do the video. So all I'm going to say is that after I make the video, even my most entitled of viewers, I think, are going to understand why I haven't been on. Okay? Let me just say that. But I just wanted to make sure you guys know that, because obviously it's been a number of days. There's just been a whole lot. I've only told like maybe 6 people. Made $2 million this month. Worst month of my life. $2 million this month. I wish. I wish I could just spend money and fucking undo shit, but sometimes that's just not how it works, man. That's not how it works. Money can solve a lot of problems, but it can't solve every single one of them. Either way, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I wanted to make sure I talk about all this stuff and get into it. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see y'all later. I'm probably going to get some food. Peace.